3 years ago, Intel looked finished. Not struggling. Not restructuring. Finished. Its roadmap had become a public embarrassment. Its manufacturing delays had turned into industry jokes. Its rivals were pulling further ahead with each new product cycle. Customers that once treated Intel as the center of the computing world were quietly building their futures somewhere else. And under normal circumstances, that would have been just another corporate decline story. But these are not normal circumstances. Because chips are no longer just about laptops. They now sit underneath AI models, cloud infrastructure, autonomous weapons research, financial systems, industrial automation, and the supply chains that decide which countries get leverage and which countries live with dependence. Modern power is increasingly built on silicon, which means the question of who can manufacture the best chips is no longer a business question alone. It is a geopolitical one. That is why Intel 18A matters. Not because it has a futuristic name, not because Intel needs a redemption arc, but because the world is entering an AI era that demands more compute, more energy efficiency, and more manufacturing resilience than the old transistor architecture could comfortably deliver. And the company that once defined the semiconductor industry is now trying to prove it can still build the future instead of just remembering when it used to. To understand why 18A feels so important, you have to remember how far Intel fell. For decades, Intel did not merely participate in the chip industry. It set the pace. When people said, processor, they often meant Intel by default. That dominance was so complete it started to look permanent. Then it cracked. The 10-nanometer process slipped. Then slipped again. Then turned into the sort of failure engineers referenced with a grim smile. While Intel was trying to solve its own delays, TSMC kept executing. Apple moved. AMD leaned harder into the new order. Nvidia deepened its dependence. One customer after another followed the center of gravity toward Taiwan. And that shift changed everything. Because once the world's most advanced logic manufacturing concentrates in one place, the issue is no longer just competition. It becomes fragility. One island begins carrying an absurd portion of the global digital economy on its shoulders. That may be efficient in peacetime. It looks much less comfortable when AI demand is exploding and geopolitical tension is rising. By mid-2024, Intel Foundry was posting operating losses so large they no longer looked cyclical. They looked structural. Billions disappearing in a single quarter. The kind of numbers that make it easy to assume the story is already over. But Intel made a bet anyway. 5 nodes in 4 years. A brutally compressed roadmap. A plan that sounded either brave or reckless depending on how much faith you still had in the company. 18A was the target. The label itself needs a quick translation. The A stands for angstroms. 18 angstroms works out to 1.8 nanometers on paper. But modern node names are no longer literal ruler measurements. They are closer to strategic labels than clean physical dimensions. The important thing is not what 18A sounds like. The important thing is what Intel is actually introducing underneath it. And that is where the story becomes serious. For roughly the last decade and a half, the semiconductor industry has relied on transistor structures called FinFETs. The name sounds abstract, but the principle is simple enough. A transistor is a tiny switch. Current flows through a channel, and a gate controls whether that current turns on or off. In a FinFET, that channel rises like a vertical fin, and the gate wraps around it on 3 sides. That was a major breakthrough in its time. It gave chipmakers better control than older flat transistor designs and allowed them to keep shrinking devices while preserving usable performance. But eventually, physics sends the bill. As you pack hundreds of millions of transistors into a single square millimeter, 3-sided control stops being enough. The gate can no longer fully contain the electrical behavior of the channel. Current begins leaking through places it should not. Heat builds faster. Power efficiency worsens. And each further shrink makes those problems more severe. FinFET did not suddenly become bad. It simply began running into the limits of what it could still do at the scale modern AI and high-performance computing now require. That is why the world needs gate-all-around transistors. Intel's version is called RibbonFET. Instead of the gate controlling the channel from three sides, RibbonFET surrounds it almost completely. Full wraparound control. Intel achieves this using stacked horizontal ribbons as the channel, each enclosed by the gate. The engineering advantage is straightforward. More control over the channel means less leakage, tighter switching behavior, and better efficiency at extremely small scales. And that translates into the only trade-off that really matters in modern chips, either more performance at the same power, or the same performance at lower power. That is not a niche improvement. That is the foundation of the AI era. Every data center operator, every laptop designer, every cloud provider, every company trying to run larger models without watching power cost spiral cares about that trade-off. Intel says 18A can deliver around 25% better performance, or roughly 36% lower power consumption versus the previous generation, depending on how the design is tuned. Those numbers matter because they are not cosmetic. They change what systems can be built around the node. But RibbonFET is only one half of Intel's gamble. The more radical move is PowerVia. To understand PowerVia, imagine a growing city where every road, delivery lane, communications line, and utility pipe has been forced onto the same crowded surface streets. For a while, you can keep adding lanes and intersections. But at some point the city stops becoming efficient and starts becoming tangled. Movement slows. Noise rises. Everything begins interfering with everything else. That is roughly what happened on the front side of advanced chips. Traditionally, both the signal routing and the power delivery network live on the front side of the wafer. That means the same region must carry the pathways that move data and the pathways that feed power into billions of transistors. As density rises, that shared space becomes a bottleneck. Power lines take room. Routing gets more constrained. Electrical interference becomes harder to manage. Intel's answer was not to keep reorganizing the same crowded surface. It was to move the power delivery network to the back of the wafer. That is PowerVia, backside power delivery. It sounds simple when said quickly, but the implications are profound. By separating power from signal, Intel frees the front side for cleaner signal routing while using the back side for thicker power metal layers. Thicker metal means lower resistance. Lower resistance means current can be delivered more cleanly and with less loss. And that reduction in resistance also helps reduce RC delay, the timing lag caused by resistance and capacitance in interconnects, which directly improves signal integrity and frequency behavior. In plain terms, the chip becomes easier to feed, easier to route, and easier to keep stable under pressure. Intel has said the result can improve standard cell utilization by roughly 5 to 10% and deliver up to 4% better ISO power performance. But the more important practical effect may be what it does to voltage droop. Voltage droop is one of those technical phrases that sounds distant until you understand what it means. A chip suddenly demands a surge of power during an AI inference burst, a rendering spike, or a gaming workload. The delivery network cannot respond cleanly enough. Voltage dips. Timing margins tighten. Performance wobbles right at the moment the system is under stress. That is the kind of invisible instability engineers obsess over. Backside power delivery helps reduce that problem because the power path is cleaner and less resistive. The chip gets what it needs faster and more reliably when demand spikes. That means more stable behavior when the workload is most punishing. This is also where Intel may have a meaningful timing advantage. TSMC and Samsung are pursuing similar ideas, but Intel is trying to bring this class of backside power into commercial production first at the leading edge. If that execution holds, it is not merely catching up. It is changing the sequence of the race. Of course, a beautiful architecture means very little if it cannot survive reality. That is why productization matters. Panther Lake, Intel's Core Ultra Series 3 family, is the first consumer platform built on 18A. Intel has tied it to a broad commercial rollout rather than a lab-only demonstration. On the server side, Clearwater Forest pushes 18A into hyperscale territory, where efficiency under sustained AI-heavy load matters enormously. And the ecosystem response is not theoretical. Microsoft is building Maya 2 AI accelerators on Intel 18A. Amazon is ordering custom silicon as well. Those are serious customers making serious decisions. They are not buying a speech. They are buying a manufacturing option. The comparison with rivals is more nuanced than fanboys on either side would like. On a TechInsights performance metric, Intel 18A scores ahead of TSMC's N2 and Samsung's equivalent class process. That supports Intel's case on performance efficiency. But TSMC still appears to hold a transistor density advantage, packing more transistors into the same area. That matters especially in ultra-compact products where area is the core constraint. So the honest read is this: Intel looks especially strong where sustained efficiency and performance per watt matter most. TSMC still looks formidable where raw density remains king. That is not a fairy tale ending. It is something more useful, a real race. And a real race matters far beyond laptops. Because the deeper significance of 18A is not just that Intel may build faster chips. It is that advanced logic manufacturing may no longer be drifting toward an even narrower bottleneck. A competitive leading-edge fab on American soil changes how governments think, how cloud companies negotiate, how supply chains are balanced, and how much strategic risk the world is forced to tolerate. That does not mean Intel is safe. Yields still matter. Ramp still matters. Execution still matters. Intel's own leadership has been clear that 2026 is still an execution year, with bigger proof points beyond it. If the yields disappoint or the ramp stumbles, 18A becomes another chapter in a long recovery story. But if it works, then Intel has not merely repaired its image. It has re-entered the central industrial contest of this decade. Because in the end, 18A is not really about one node name. It is about whether one of the most important companies in computing history can still turn manufacturing into strategic power. It is about whether the AI revolution will be built on a single narrow choke point or on a more competitive map. It is about whether a company everyone had started filing into the past can force its way back into the future. For years, Intel was the company people used when talking about what computing used to be. 18A is its argument that it still belongs in what comes next.